The NPA's Investigative Directorate has lodged a forfeiture application against the Gupta-owned Optimum Mine. Yesterday, the unit filed 2 court applications to recover stolen funds, and today, the ID served the respondents. The South Gauteng High Court will hear the preservation application on the 28th of March next year. The ID wants the proceeds of one of the primary criminal schemes linked to state capture returned to the state. All right, and now we're joined by Sindisiwe Seboka, the Investigative Directorate spokesperson. Sindisiwe, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us, and a warm welcome to The Full View. First of all, take us through, this application that will be launched.
Thank you so much for having us. So first and foremost, on International Corruption Day, the commemoration thereof, we yesterday lost the application. It's not coincidental. We lost the application for 2 applications, actually, which are linked in order to gain one of the biggest assets that was actually owned by the Gupta family through a company called Directorate Exploration. The first application looks at how the ID is attempting to get the assets owned by Tegeta at the Optimum Coal Holdings, which is a company that owns Optimum Coal Mine as well as Optimum Coal Terminal. These assets were bought by 2.1 billion rand, which we're saying was actually used using Eskom, using various other money laundering schemes in order to get this particular asset. We've also submitted to court that over 600 million rand was actually taken from Eskom willingly by Eskom officials who were part and parcel of this and given to Tegeta Exploration in order to make the required 2.1 billion in order to buy Optimum Coal. So we're saying that that on its own means that the proceeds of crime were actually used in order to purchase this particular mine or holding company, which then owns the various assets. But what we've also stated to court in a separate application in terms of Templar Capital, it's one of the creditors, the largest investment creditors for Optimum Coal Holding, which claims to have invested about 1.3 billion into Optimum Coal Holding through what we're alleging is through nefarious means as well there, because through investigations we found out that AJ Gupta's son, who owns a company called Grifflin in Bermuda, in Dubai actually, is the company that also facilitated that Templar actually gets that particular stake, or being the creditor of Optimum Coal Holding. So in a nutshell, to simplify everything, what we're saying is that we want Optimum Coal Mine to be preserved, an application which we've lodged, which will be heard next year in March, and later, at a later stage, should the Honourable Court be in favour of application, then a forfeiture application will be brought so that the mine as well as the terminal are forfeited to the state, and then it's sold to people who are able to turn the business around and basically benefit workers for them to be able to keep jobs, and more work can actually be created.
All right, Sindisiwe, thank you so much for that update. We do appreciate the time. That was Sindisiwe Seboka from the Investigative Directorate.